All right, guys, we're back here. Matt's out. Nick and I are here. We're talking about Succession, Season 4, Episode 9, the penultimate episode. We get the series finale next week, which is crazy. Can't believe it's here already. It feels like we just started this season, but it's been a lot of ups and downs in this season, just for the characters. Great season overall, though. And we got the highly anticipated funeral for Logan Roy. And I think in a lot of ways it lived up to the hype. We got a lot of speeches from some people we didn't expect to get speeches from, some people that we did. Emotions were flowing. Again, another contained episode, mostly takes part at the funeral and then the reception after. But just another prime example of how good the acting in this show is. A lot of people, again, calling for Kieran Culkin's Emmy, which I think it looks like is a lock at this stage. But, I mean, great episode. One more to go. Nick, how you feeling? What'd you think of this episode?
So, first of all, I got to give credit where credit is due. My boy, Ryan Curley, who was he was in a film that I shot a couple of years ago now, actually, that was doing nicely in film festivals and everything. He was a background actor in this. He was at the funeral. Yep, he's in the church. He was like one of the altar boys in there. So it was cool. Ryan, congratulations, and I hope this helps with your career and everything as an actor. Really, kid's a really good actor, and he's in college in New York, so good for him. That was really cool. Yeah, the episode. I get weird with. I felt weird after this episode.
It felt like you were in a funeral.
Yeah, I had a weird. Yeah. Normally, I'm pumped and all this stuff. It's really getting emotionally straining to watch because you feel bad for the characters and everything else. But it was a interesting episode to say the least. I really I didn't feel as bad for Roman as I wanted to. I felt bad for Logan. Especially with his brother's
speech. Yeah,
with his brother's speech, we have different things, different pictures.
I mean,
here.
He was the first one to go up, and obviously, Roman was the only scheduled one that they knew of, and then Greg was put on guard duty of making sure his grandfather didn't go up there, but he goes up as he should.
Yeah,
I think.
Not Jeremy Strong.
Kieran Culkin.
No. The writer. Who's the creator? Showrunner guy.
Oh God, not Mark Mylod. That's the director of this episode.
Jesse
Armstrong.
Jesse Armstrong. Jesse Armstrong said in the breakdown of the episode afterward, and he's in the podcast for HBO afterward too. He was like, it doesn't justify anything that Logan did or the way that he acted toward people, but he said that typically at funerals you do get some of these backstories from people that aren't really prevalent in your lives. Yeah. So the fact that Logan was sent away to another school and his whole life he thought he basically killed his little sister with polio. Which is
so great because they first referenced that in season 2 or 3. But they don't tell you what happened. All you know is that something about his sister is very sensitive to him.
Yeah, but it really shows you whenever you look at these people, and again, I'm not justifying murder and crimes and craziness out there, but whenever you have some hard ass out there, they're only like that because of their life and what they've gone through in their life. And it's a really difficult it's just a great prime example of you can't judge a book by its cover. And I think that some of these kids are just rotten fucking
But I think
kids.
like the Roy kids, how they turned out is also the same thing. It's a product of their environment. It's a reflection of Logan's treatment towards them as children, which is like a domino effect of how he was treated. I think really this whole series has been diving deep into that idea of the trauma creating who these characters are.
Yep. Before we get too much into the funeral stuff, Shiv did tell Roman and Kendall that she's pregnant in the car. I loved when she says she's pregnant and Roman says, "Is it mine?" I loved it. Great moment. Never misses an opportunity, which I thought was great. How did you feel just before we get into the funeral stuff? Just surface level crap. How did you feel about the fact that Rava once took the kids out of the city, like right before the funeral? I mean, if you were Kendall, what would you have done?
I'd be mad. I think it was an overreaction on her part. I mean, just, go to the funeral and then stay in your house.
Well, especially since nothing bad happened at the funeral.
Right. Yeah, that too.
They had police everywhere. Like, what?
Yeah. I mean, it kind of, I felt bad for Kendall in that thing. Again, though, Kendall hasn't been the greatest father. We're going to talk about that, though, I think near the end of the episode where that's going. But, yeah, I mean, not a great look. Not a great feeling for Kendall. I definitely felt for him. And then, obviously, right after that scene, his assistant, Jess, is that her name?
Yeah.
Put in a resignation.
Yeah.
All seemingly because of his support for Mencken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, that was a little bit of an overreaction.
Yeah, but I mean, definitely we've seen in today's society that politics, for some people, divide.
Sure, 100%.
More than others,
Listen, the reason I think it's an overreaction, though, RJ, is because Mencken hasn't really won yet.
Right, which is going to be interesting.
Nothing's official, especially, and that plays into this whole concept of, like, maybe he's won or maybe he hasn't won or whatever it is. They're going to do this count of everything. But regardless of all that crap,
it was a risky call.
Yes, but we see that when Mencken says he's going to try to help, and Kendall's like, try to help.
They didn't put it on paper, it was just a verbal agreement.
Literally. Mm-hmm. So Kendall's going to definitely do some stuff. Let's go through these speeches though. So after the brother, we have Roman who
wanted it. He wanted to do it.
He wanted it, and he started the episode with a whole bunch of talking to himself in the mirror as he gets ready. It's Discord. He gets on the phone with Kendall. He says, "Discord makes my dickord," which I thought was funny.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to get up there and kill it. And
but also, though, you've said that he's a ticking time bomb.
Well, yeah.
The whole pre-grieve thing.
Yeah,
I mean, this, when you look back at it, this was easily foreshadowed there.
Yeah.
Obviously
definitely.
Tough to watch. I don't think we've ever seen Roman in such a emotional state. He's always, playing up the hard aspect. He's never shows too much of that sadder side of him, but him crying and all that, I thought was very powerful.
Very powerful. Great performance on the part of Kieran Culkin. And I would say the best line from that. So again, I will get into how I didn't really feel bad for Roman as a character, but one of the greatest, the most emotion provoking lines were when he asked Kendall and Shiv, is he in there? Can we get him out?
Right.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Really, really emotional
kind
of moment. But we've already seen the other characters kind of go through the grieving process.
Right.
Listen. So when you've been to funerals before?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So normally there's a lot of crying and stuff at funerals, but it's always, from my experience, and I've been to a few.
Yeah.
It's usually not from the direct family members, unless it's something that happens unexpectedly.
They've already
they've gone through it all
already. Tears have gone through, yeah.
So it's interesting. Sometimes it happens, especially during speeches. People cry, but it's always the funeral goers, that are sobbing and everything else, and the family standing there yep, we've done this
because it's been real for the family members, and now it's real for the other people who go.
Exactly. Yeah. So I found it interesting. There was a lot of when they do the cutaway shots to the other people, there's a lot of confusion on their faces when he starts crying. They're always what do we do? What do we do?
Right.
What do we do? I think it was interesting too because Mencken saw Roman crying as a huge sign of weakness.
And I also think a lot of the people in the crowd there aren't just thinking about the passing of Logan. They're thinking about how does this work business-wise.
Well, it's all business people.
Right, yeah. So that's the other thing.
This guy's our co-CEO.
Yep.
Can't even handle a speech.
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
But listen, it doesn't mean that it's not okay, and it doesn't mean that it's not expected. And Roman was clearly the most emotionally attached, besides Connor.
Yeah.
But this is why we don't see anything from Connor, because Connor's been going to sit with Logan's body.
Yeah, right.
On a bi-weekly basis or whatever, or multiple times. I think he said he does it every day because the season's been 10 days essentially. So ever since he's passed away, Connor's been going and sitting with his father at the mortuary or whatever it is, every day up until this point, grieving.
Yep.
Getting through it.
Like everything else in his life, he's obviously left out. He doesn't make a speech here, even though he wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of sad.
Right. You get all the other kids there. Yeah.
And everybody else did. And then there's a great moment where all three of them are standing up there. But Roman can't get through his speech. He fumbles it around, gives it to Kendall, and says, you got to give the other side, because the brother basically ripped Logan apart.
Yeah.
And was like, he was a horrible human being.
Right.
And so Shiv's like, we got to give the good version now.
Yeah.
Right? Somebody, please. So Roman can't get through it and gives the speech to Kendall. What'd you think?
I think he killed it. I think it was a good speech, and I think it got Mencken's attention. I think this is the second time now that Kendall's killed it under pressure. He had that Living Plus ceremony, which I think obviously you when we go back to that episode, that was your least favorite episode, and you said you questioned whether Living Plus would play an effect in the rest of the season, which it really hasn't. But I think what that episode was about was a win for Kendall, because that episode ends with him going in the water. And we'll talk about our predictions for the next episode here, but Kendall's looking good right now, in my opinion. I
have theories, but go ahead.
Okay, but yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a great speech. I think he balanced it well. I think it wasn't like my dad could do no wrong, but he said it in a way where he had to be that way to be so successful.
And I think he kind of, in a non-antagonizing way, kind of threw at the audience there, you all benefited because of the way that my father was. If he wasn't this way, none of you would be here, and we would all have nothing. I also like that he got everybody to laugh at the funeral.
Yes, that's key.
When he has that line, he did this, he did this, he did this, and the money, and everybody kind of laughs because they've all benefited from all of Logan's trials and tribulations in life. I think that's super. There's nothing more powerful than being able to control the way people in front of you feel in any moment. So you're literally at a funeral, right? Everybody should be sad and upset and everything else, and you, based on your words about the deceased, you're getting people to laugh and be on his side.
Yep.
They're all at a funeral, again, for somebody who they don't really like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't really they don't know how to feel. They feel an obligation to be there. They got to show face. Everybody is there for their own selfish reasons because they have to look the best at this guy's funeral.
Yep.
Tom doesn't go to the funeral.
No, that was interesting.
And Greg gets to take his place on the casket.
Yes.
On the wheeling of the casket.
He worked his way into it. I did like that moment when Shiv was like no to her mom's new husband and said yes to Greg, allowing him, because usually they're denying Greg everything.
And I think that's the only reason Greg got the spot.
Yes.
Was because
it was just who would I more rather out of those two.
Oh, yeah. Oh, great line from Roman, not to go too far backwards here, but when he says, no. Yeah, Roman, when Frank says, you all right, son? He goes, yeah, I pre-grieved, and not your son. My dad is laying right there.
Yeah.
But
Frank showed a lot of sympathy toward Roman throughout this episode. Which
when they recorded the cry.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Shiv's speech was probably the least provoking.
But I thought it was also the most realistic from a funeral perspective.
Yeah.
Kendall was talking to the people in the business. Shiv was talking about my father, kind of.
Yeah, she played the middle ground there.
Yeah. Told the story from when they were kids.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I agree with that. But and then Connor, as we said, didn't get one. What did you think of the little moment before the funeral started with all of Logan's ex-wives and girlfriends?
Oh, thank you for asking. So I was going to go through these after the speeches, but that was one of my favorite moments of the entire series. Was that Marsha, who again we haven't seen the finale here, so we don't know what's going to happen. If anything's going to happen with Marsha, I kind of like that she has been out of the way a little bit, but that doesn't mean anything as usual, because she could always change it up. But I thought it was really brilliantly done the way that Sonia, the mom, brought Carrie in. She grabbed Carrie and then said, Sally Ann. And she goes, Marsha, this is Sally Ann. She was my Carrie.
Yes,
So, it's all water under the bridge now. And that's a great moment of, listen. I know you don't like her. She don't like you either. This was the one that didn't like me. And I don't like her either. But we're all here. And Marsha has a great line with, at least he won't, we know he won't be grinding his teeth tonight.
Yeah.
Because, and they all kind of chuckle, and Carrie cries, and Marsha grabs her hand.
Yeah.
And it was...
good redemption moment.
You just know that regardless of the bullshit, all four of those women really loved that guy.
Yeah.
They really loved him.
Which is why I was surprised Marsha didn't speak. But I think she definitely is a little sour, obviously, with how it happened, how it ended with them, which she said.
Yeah.
But she says it to Shiv when they put the casket in the mausoleum, you know.
Oh, like, can we talk about this mausoleum?
Yeah, let's talk about it. This is after the funeral. You know, they throw it in here. Logan spent like what?
$5 million.
$5 million on a mausoleum for his family.
.com pet supply guy.
Yep. They throw it in there. It's obviously a tough scene. It's only the intimate family. Roman can't really watch it, but you know, they crack some good jokes. I thought there was a sweet little exchange in that picture with Connor and Shiv and Kendall. But yeah,
when Connor says, "I could go for a top bunk,"
I wouldn't say no to a top bunk.
Yeah. That was great. I loved when he said it was a good deal, and he goes, "How much was it?" And he said $5 million, and Kendall goes, "That's a good deal."
Good deal. Yeah,
that's a good deal.
Yeah.
I mean, the mausoleum is great. I think it's
fitting.
I think it's incredibly fitting.
Yeah.
I like it. I think it's a little creepy, but I like it. I like that they there's a lot of humanity in this episode given to Logan. The fact that, you know, the stuff about the sister and his brother's speech, but then also we hear that he had a fear of being put in the ground.
Which is all stuff, if they really wanted to, if the writing was not bad, but any less perfect than it is, like, they would have revealed that stuff earlier in the season.
And I'm so happy they didn't.
Right, it hits so much better now.
Yeah,
having him be gone,
especially since it leaves zero room. So for me anyway, it really makes you think, like, nothing is ever as it seems.
No,
you never know what's going on in someone's personal life. You never know, even within your own family, you don't know what's going on with other people. And I think it's super interesting that, like, you have this guy that everyone thinks is just such an asshole, and he's just a regular guy. He has regular, real fears of things. And the brilliantness, or the thing that's so good about the writing, is the fact that they've taken the option away. Logan wouldn't have this conversation with anybody, especially his children. He's not going to look weak in front. He's not going to tell Shiv that he's afraid of being put in the ground.
He's finally out of control.
Yeah. Well, he's not even. It's not that he's out of control, but there's no room for an apology. Hey, Dad, I'm sorry. I didn't understand you. I didn't understand where you're coming from. No, it's over. You lost him. He's gone. You thought he was an asshole, and guess what? You were wrong. He wasn't that bad after all.
Yeah.
And you don't have the opportunity to apologize to him.
Right.
You know, there's none. And I love that, because that happens frequently, and more frequently than it should, I think, in real life.
And I think what this whole show done is, you know, you start the show off and you look at this rich family and you have no sympathy for them.
Right.
They make bad decisions. They aren't great people. And I feel like at the first season, you're looking at it as if we were looking at, like, a public figure. Like, if we saw Kendall from our perspective, we'd probably be like, this guy's just a douchebag.
Oh, yeah.
But when you get to see the inside of his life, you sit there and you're like, well, he's an addict. He's been through a lot, and you start to sympathize with them more. So I think it also opens up perspectives when you look at these public figures, and they're not black and white.
No, not at all.
Which is really interesting. But yeah, then there's a little reception, and I think the biggest thing that happens here is Shiv and Mattson. She finally pulls the trigger on, I want to be CEO. Let's make a deal with Mencken that will allow an American CEO, and it's me. If he'll, let the deal go through. Kendall obviously gets word of this, sits down with Roman, who really just has no interest in it at the moment. He's still recovering from the funeral and is like, we need to go after Shiv. So now he literally says it's like me and you against Shiv.
Yeah.
Which seems like how this final matchup here in the finale is gonna go. What'd you think of that?
At first, I felt weird about Kendall's timing with regard to this conversation, this picture of Roman and Kendall.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of bizarre in the sense that you know that your brother's going through this emotional moment. How could you sit there and tell him that he messed everything up, basically, with regard to, Mencken and the funeral, and he says you fucked it.
In a funny way, though, he was kind of Logan. Like
no. Hear me out.
Yeah.
So this is the first time. This is the first go through of me watching this. I was like, wow, that's kind of rude. Like that's messed up. But this is the whole point. I don't. He had like Kendall's gone through the grief.
Yeah.
Shiv's gone through the grief.
Mm-hmm.
This is just another day for them.
Yep.
You know. Yes, it's their father. Yes, it's emotional. And it's a lot, but they have grieved.
Yeah.
And Roman has been prancing around, saying that he pre-grieved and he's fine and
making
it's this and it's
impulsive
that.
decisions. Yeah.
Right, but also acting like nothing's bugging him.
Yeah.
When he hasn't. So it's not Kendall's fault that Roman lied about pre-grieving.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's like,
and they
haven't done anything wrong.
Yes.
But with regard to the Mattson CEO thing, and we'll get into this when we get into like our predictions and stuff, you know, I think so. Really, just to finish off the episode, because I'm from here with regard to the Mattson thing, it's all prediction based.
Sure.
So after that conversation, Roman leaves and he goes down the street with these crazies.
Yep.
And I think that I don't know. He's done. I think he's done. We got one day left.
Did you have any thought that he might get like trampled and die in the scene?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. Well, I thought he was going to get. Honestly, I thought he was going to get shot. I thought there was going to be like something like that, or a bottle or something to the head, something crazy. Yeah. I absolutely did, 100%.
But no, that seems like a finishing act for him. For his character.
Listen, it was brilliantly done.
Yeah.
I think it was really well done. Okay, so we have moving forward into the finale. We have Shiv, who thinks she's going to be CEO, American CEO.
The wrong American.
Right.
Yeah.
And Mattson, who has agreed and has never said
who it is
at any point who it is, but he's leading Shiv on to believe that she's going to be CEO. We have Mencken, who I guess at this point just assumed he's going to be president. Kendall, who's going to try and unwind the election now single-handedly.
Yes.
Great scene at the mausoleum when Hugo tells Kendall at the funeral, right, in the church as everybody's leaving, he says, listen, Ebba just told me that Siobhan is trying to be CEO, American CEO for Mattson. And then as they're leaving at the end of the mausoleum scene, Kendall says, listen, this isn't a partnership, what I'm talking about. You're going to work for me. You're going to be my dog. But the scraps from the table will be millions. And Hugo goes, woof, woof. And I thought that was so amazing.
Yeah.
And Kendall looks so good right now. He looks so good right now. Because if he is able to unwind this election bullshit, or if he is able to stop things from happening, he's going to take over. There's no question.
But I also think that even if Mencken does win, that he's going to take over too, because I think that Mencken really liked his speech there. As of now, if Kendall makes him look bad, but as of now, I think the American CEO in that phone call that Mattson and him had said, yeah, I agree to the American CEO, but it's Kendall, not Shiv. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I think it could be Greg.
Really?
Yeah, hear me out. Okay, hear me out. Hear me out.
So, because of Mattson?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mattson walks up and goes, hey, sexy, to Greg at the funeral. That's funny. Greg has been, ever since they were in Norway, Greg has been attached to Mattson, hanging out with him.
I didn't think of that.
Okay. And if anything, Mattson is agreeing to this American CEO because he's acting as though he doesn't want to be involved or want the control or anything like that. But who better than a Greg puppet to control as your CEO?
Yeah. Which would be in line. I mean, we've been talking about it all season, whether or not Greg is actually going to do it. And I feel like we flip-flop because some episodes it's like no, but then some episodes
I just think it wouldn't surprise me.
No,
if Mattson is able to take over.
I think it's safe to say it's either going to be it's either going to be Greg or Kendall. Yeah,
right. So
here's my stance on the Kendall thing.
Oh yeah, go.
Is I feel like the more and more that we get near the end, it feels like this entire show was about Kendall becoming his father through all that bullshit that he went through. In like Logan's bad parenting and abuse to him, he in a way became him, and he turned into that killer. But he loses everything in the process. Like he gets what he wants, but he doesn't have Shiv, he doesn't have Roman, and he doesn't have his kids.
Right.
That would be kind of a bittersweet ending for him.
It would leave him in a position just like his father.
Right. Here's one other thing, though.
Go.
Roman's name is very interesting. His name's Romulus. Not a common name, but are you aware of the like who Romulus is in like history?
No, go.
Romulus and Remus were the founders of Rome. That's like the ancient like legend. And Romulus kills his brother after they found Rome and takes over.
Like a Cain and Abel.
Yes, very much like Cain. I'm just wondering, is there something behind the name?
Is
this kill mean reveals Kendall's thing in season 1?
You mean the killing of the waiter?
Yes. To burn him. I don't think that's going to happen, but I think I don't know, it's interesting to think about. Because that thing is still there, and if the bridge is burned and Roman goes to Shiv's side, they could use that. And Marcia knows about it too.
That's a good point.
But there's also only one episode left, so it's like...
That's where I'm at.
But I don't think this is going to be the day after. I definitely think there's going to be a jump. I know you were worried about that, but I think there has to be a jump. Maybe like a few weeks or a month or two, but you got to figure if they're doing the rereading of this election and everything, that can't happen the next day. So either we're not going to find out who wins the election, which I doubt, or they're going to jump.
It's also an hour and a half episode.
Right. So there could be a day after and then a jump. Yeah. They could do our jump to Greg in that final shot that we talked about
with
last.
With Tom as a footstool.
Yeah. That would be funny. I don't know. What do you think? So if you had to put your money on, who do you think?
Oh, God, I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whoever I say is going to be wrong. I'm a horrible gambler.
I actually saw something, an interview with, I think it was Jesse Armstrong or Mark Mylod, said that they've teased who the person is going to be through a shot that they use every season to shoot this particular person. And I didn't send you the tweet because...
You knew I'd go through every single episode?
Yeah, no. They like the tweet that I saw like showed this particular shot that they think they're
now
referencing.
You have to tell me. What do you want?
Do you want me to tell you?
Well, yeah, if it's tweeted
so
out,
it's a shot. They always shoot Kendall from the back, like he's rising up, and it's this shot where he's like silhouetted. And I'll try to find the Twitter thing, but it's this at least 4 instances where they shoot him from the back and he's going up. And this, they said, they didn't say Kendall, but they said there's a particular shot that is a recurring thing we've used throughout the series that tells you who is going to win.
All right. Well, we have our own little reveal that we should just get out of the way here because it's really bugging me right now. So you unfortunately have to work on Sunday.
I do.
You suck ass. You
Thank
suck.
Thank you.
I might do a little...
Comment below if you want to see Nick talk about it. I think he can talk. He doesn't like to talk by himself.
I don't like to talk by myself. I really don't. I like to get
a little raw reaction. I feel like if you have a raw reaction...
but dude, I get emotional with movies and TV. Like it'll be me like crying and shit for
paragraphs on text. You just yell at the screen.
I know. But you're not even gonna be able to like see it or anything because you're working until
I probably won't watch it till Monday.
You suck. Oh my God, you suck. So for so many different reasons. But then
we'll have a cool down review on Wednesday.
But that's so dumb. Who wants cool down? We gotta get emotional.
Process.
I might do a live. I might do a live right after. I might have we might do like a special guest. Have somebody here just so Andrew Gilligan.
Jesse Armstrong on.
Yeah, we'll just call up Jesse Armstrong. I'll call Kieran. He'll sit in the chair on his head.
Yeah.
He'll do something. Oh my God. RJ, all right, who do you think? You think it's going to be Kendall in the end?
I think it's going to be Kendall, but your idea about Greg is very intriguing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't realistically think it's going to be Greg. I think that if it is, it would be a great twist. I don't know.
I think it's great. We don't know.
I know.
I will say that tweet, though, that I saw in the interview is very interesting in terms of it leading to Kendall. But
who would you don't get emotional about this shit, which really pisses me off, but that's okay. That's a whole other story. Who would upset you enough to text me after you watch it and be like, "Are you kidding me right now?" Like
Shiv,
if she was the CEO. Interesting.
I honestly would be content with anyone.
For me,
else.
it would be Marcia. If Marcia,
I just don't think she's. I could be wrong, but like to me, this episode solidified that she doesn't really have an interest in that. I think she's got what she needs out of it. She cut ties with Logan, and like she's still got the money. I don't like. Do you feel like she'd want that? I really don't.
No. It's not about want or not want.
Yeah.
I there is something in me that says you got to watch out for this, bro.
Right,
like,
but you didn't feel a little bit more. You put your guard down in this episode, especially when she said to Shiv about he hurt. Logan hurt me. He hurt you. Like it felt like she finally was kind of just like leaving it.
Yeah, he broke my heart. He broke all your hearts too. Yeah.
And like with Carrie and everything, it seems like I don't know. It seemed like she was actually a human being in this. But I could be wrong. We got an 1.5-hour episode, so
yeah. Leave a comment down below if you want me to
do it.
I might just do it anyway. I don't even care if nobody watches it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I don't know.
I'm excited.
So, anyways, while you're working on Sunday,
yeah.
I'm gonna probably rewatch everything from season 1.
You're crazy.
I might do it. I might do a marathon. No, I mean I'll have it on in the background. It actually isn't
a lot of episodes.
It's like 8 per.
Yeah, I think there's 40 episodes in total.
But it's easy enough. Also, side note, HBO Max is now Max.
Yeah. I had to re-download the app and everything.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. But I don't know. Final thought. You think it's Kendall?
I'm going Kendall. I'm going Kendall, but could be Greg. Could be
Greg. Kendall, but could be Greg. It's like like.
I don't think it's. I think Tom. I think definitely Tom and Roman are out. I don't think they're options.
It's painful.
We'll see. So yeah, Nick might have a little special event there on Sunday. Maybe you put out like an announcement or something, let the people know. And then we'll have another review, obviously the regular review, and then we need a new show because that's it. Let us know if there's anything you guys want.
Maybe it'll be The Idol.
Oh, jeez. Maybe.
We'll see how it goes.
But, guys, thank you for watching. As always, the Movie Mob Podcast drops Fridays at 6 p.m., guys. Movie Roulette drops on Mondays if you want to see some movie reviews separate from this. Always like, subscribe. It helps out the channel, guys. Leave a comment down below what you thought of all the things we talk about today. And ask us some questions. We'll answer it next week.
And leave your thoughts below. Who's going to just, I know we only, this drops on Friday, so we only have 48 hours till the final, finale. But
who's going to win?
Who's going to win? Who's going to win? Who do you think?
If anyone.
Yeah.
If anyone. Well, guys, we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. How you doing?